I'm Evan. This is my interpretation of Jurassic Park. I wanted to make it true to the movie and the book, specifically no Jurassic World elements primarily was the goal. So when I saw the Jurassic Park T-Rex set that came out just earlier this year, it kind of like made me think of like what more could I do with this. So I took that idea of like where the T-Rex coming out of the fence and the Ford Explorers that looked beautiful, and then I wanted to expand on that. So I reused those because the Ford Explorer is so beautiful. I didn't even want to try my own. But then I got my own fence design that I came up with myself. And then I did the gate, which is largely inspired by the larger Jurassic Park gate. It's just scaled down. That sticker is actually the same like JPEG. I just photoshopped it and then printed it myself so it would fit my sign. And then, let's see, going back into here, you can see where this is where the goat would have been hanging out. I made the footprints so you can tell that's where he came from. Over here we got the Dennis Nedry scene where he's got himself stuck. You can see he drove off the road there and he's on the hill. He knocked over the East Dock sign and then he's about to get some acid in his face. Back over here, we got the kind of the intro scene where they arrive and they see the Brachiosaur and the tall trees, all that. That Brachiosaur is actually something I got from a Rebrickable. Someone on there made a free design, and I kind of remixed it a little, but it was just so cute. And I added those little eyes because he's just munching on that leaf. Let's see, and then down here, we got the Triceratops. That's another one that I kind of worked with another guy on. That was mostly his design, and I tweaked some of the connection points because it was just so pretty. I loved it. And he's from like overseas, and I thought it was a really great thing to use. And that pile of poop with Ellie Sattler getting in there. That's actually kind of a scene that I saw Brothers Brick do a take on once, and I just wanted to do it myself. And let's see, in the back here, there's a little baby dinosaur being harassed by some monkeys with a banana. And then we got the raptor's nest, which is the one thing that's book specific. In the book there was raptors and a large colony, so that's what that is. And you got a little guy there in the tree who he's trying to hide from them, but they seem to have found him. And then down here you got the iconic outhouse and the lawyer's in there panicking. It looks like he might be getting off easy though, because in this interpretation Lex is she's unfortunately done for, I think. But yeah, that's kind of it.
You got the Jeep over here as well.
I got the Jeep too. That was a funny thing about this is, I can kind of lift it for you. So the wheels do that kind of a thing. There were the rubber bands in there, but I took them out because it looked nicer when it was sitting low rather than high all the time. But that's actually from like a hidden side set. I just took that kind of rubber shock system they had, and I just kind of rebuilt it up, and I made it a Jeep, and I liked it. So I figured, why not? I'll bring it. But yeah.
You've created a great kind of jungle effect throughout this. So what were some of the elements that you incorporated in there as you did the landscaping?
Oh, so funny thing about that, you'll notice there's a lot of these lighter green leaves, and then also these and these. So I went to the Pick-a-Brick wall on a whim, hoping they had foliage, because I had like no foliage. They had these, and these, and I took everything. And I cleared them out that day, and so I just took those, and I've been trying to create different kinds of plants with all of them. Like here, it's like a tree. A common thing I would do is I would just put them on here, so then they could be leaves. Trying to make the best of like the three elements in every combination I could. So if I do it again, I would rather have less of this color because it's just, there's so much of it. I think it's almost too bright green. I'd have rather gone a little darker in some areas. And then the trees are fun because, they're just giant trees, but you'd stick like a flex tube like these that I use for the fence in there, and you give a little bend. These were so hard to find, actually. They're not official Lego. Got them through like a hobby shop. Use them for kites and stuff, but they're really nice because I just cut them to size, and I can just bend them with my fingers, and makes a really nice like explosion look, like he just blew out of there. So yeah.
Do you have any idea how many pieces are in the whole build?
Shucks. That's so, I don't even know how to gauge that. Obviously in the thousands, but This was a project that I started in March with like early concepts. I was thinking about what I wanted to do. I started with just the front here, and my wife, I was like, I have like mental block. I don't know what else to do. And she's like, well, what about like the Brachiosaur, or what about the Triceratops? I was like, oh, those are great ideas. And so she tells me I have to credit her for this because they were great ideas, and they really kind of fully tell the story, but also kind of get some height over there. I felt that area was going to be empty, so it looks perfect. So
shout out to your wife
Yes.
for that, the key idea elements.
yes, without her, it would not be half as good. I'll fully admit that.
I love it, and I see you've got your Half-Life bricks, which is your social media here as well. So what all do you post on there? What can people find on there?
Yeah, so the idea of my Half-Life bricks is I'm kind of like a Half-Life fan, for those who know the video game. And I started it with the idea of doing stop-motion movies. That was always kind of my thing. And I did a few, and I got some Gordon Freeman, like, hijinks and stuff on that. And I've kind of moved on to just builds, because stop-motion's so time-consuming. I don't have the time. And this is something I can kind of come back to, where stop-motion, it's kind of hard to leave it and come back later. So there's a lot of that. A lot of progress builds and just other builds. Yeah, and the whole thing is me and my brother, when we were little, we would build our own Jurassic Parks all the time. And so once a couple years back, I came to my first BrickSlopes, I was like, why am I not building this on the scale I always wanted to as a kid? And now I can, and show it to people. And it feels like people have liked it. I've seen a lot of people take pictures, so that's really like satisfying, just tickles me, you know. So
yeah. And then bringing this to the show, what was that experience like and getting it all set up here?
it was a little anxiety-inducing. When I designed this, I was very explicit to make it into sections. So the first few rows or just the first row up to here actually are 3 of the gray 32 by 32 base plates. And then back here we have the smaller ones, and they all come apart. I obviously had to redo the fence, the gate, the trees, but mostly everything else was kind of there, and I just kind of clean up a little here and there. And I was really happy with the Transit because I just had a ton of old Amazon boxes, and I just threw it in there and drove slow, and it got here. So yeah.
Well, excellent. Thanks for bringing this out to the show here, and I love how colorful it all is, and obviously something from an iconic piece of pop culture here that I'm sure the public really enjoys seeing as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that was definitely hot. And next year I hope to do either another spin on the next movie or something totally different. We'll see. So
Great. Well, keep up the great work. Thank you so much.
thank you. Appreciate it.